it's obviously a complicated strategy. How do you think it's going to work to live with? Do you think it's going to be a difficult thing for people to live with going forward once it's set up?
That's my concern, right? Like, we set this up, it sounds phenomenal. It can theoretically save you a tremendous amount of money and your estate a tremendous amount of money in executing in the plan. But what are we, giving up? What limitations on the income, on, the ability to leverage the asset are we giving up that may become, important as your financial life changes and things evolve down the road? And, the client and I had a few offline conversations about that risk. And I think, one of the valuable aspects of, my role as the planner is, here's the nuts and bolts of it. Here's what the textbook says. But really, how does this make you feel? Right? How does the, theoretical, I have to go to somebody else to get what I'm accustomed to taking on my own, how does that make you feel? And again, for everybody, it's very different. But when you weigh the pros and cons and you think about a business that, let's say today is valued at 10 million, but, if the plan gets executed, it could be 100 million.
Right.
If I can remove that 100 million from my estate, I potentially saved my family tens of millions of dollars.
40% federal.
40% federal.
Yep, it's certainly it's a big tax. Top 3 to 12.
Right, so I mean, when you think about the economic benefit of it, and then the trade of what am I really giving up in this circumstance, the client's very intelligent, fully understood kind of what the risks are. I think today the idea of having like a trust protector in place, which is, I think, a fairly new concept. I don't remember 20 years ago us talking about trust protectors. Maybe
definitely getting more popular, especially as we're doing more irrevocable trusts.
Getting more popular, so having these layers of people that can kind of safeguard that the strategy is executed according to plan, also provides comfort.
Yeah, lawyers have gotten really good at walking the line between irrevocability and flexibility.
Yeah.
And being able to keep things like a trust protector who'd have a separate person who'd have the right to remove your trustee and replace them with somebody else, or make changes administratively to the trust so that it's easier to live with going forward. And I think that's really important to keep the flexibility.
Well, and I think it's really important for people to understand the level of flexibility that's out there in designing your trust, whatever the strategy may be.
Right.
They're not cookie cutter off the shelf.
Definitely not, yeah.
So if your estate is of value, or you're starting to think about, federal estate tax, getting with the right firm that can guide you in the right direction. And, for us, we're not a law firm. Right. So we have the ability to consult and give feedback and give advice and give our 2 cents. And guide them to the best and brightest attorneys in the area. But I think the client finds a lot of peace in knowing, we're not the ones drafting the document, and, we're understanding the strategy fully and kind of able to discuss the pros and cons without being the one that's kind of sending them the bill.
Right, yeah. We're a second seat at the table, on their side of the table when they're having that discussion with their lawyer. Yeah, for sure.